Well, ladies and gentlemen, almost 2.5 years ago, to the date, I can't say I sat down in this very seat because I live somewhere else. I sat down in a seat very similar to this one, and I watched James Gunn's DCU official rollout. And I remember, first movie, Superman, summer 2025, and I was like, damn, summer 2025. I mean, I might not even be alive by summer 2025. So first, in case parts of this review get too negative, I just want to thank God for having me still be alive here in summer of 2025 because it is crazy out here. Now, the reviews for this movie are, every big release it gets crazier and crazier, but this one is on one in a way we haven't seen in years. You got the one side that's like, this is the best Superman and superhero movie ever made. I can't wait to take my son to this, so maybe one day he could be Superman too. I've seen real shit like that. And then you got the other side that's like, oh, James Gunn, he made Superman woke. This is just more woke Hollywood bullshit. And then you got the Snyder Bros, Snyder Cult, whatever the hell, who are supposedly going to review bomb the movie. No evidence of that, by the way, because right now, as of recording, I believe this is like a 95% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. This is a rare case where the critics really like this movie and the audience likes it even more. Like usually, if an audience likes a movie, the critics hate it. This is one where the critics are like in the mid 80s and the audience is even higher. We simply didn't see the same film. Now, I did see it opening night Thursday, so a lot of those scores are just from people that went to the early screenings and or were able to pump them out quickly on Thursday. Now, I usually do my reviews out the theater or as soon as I get home. But for me, this movie is a huge deal. Now, I admit, I don't love these properties the same that I used to because we've been beaten down a lot over the last, I'd say, 5 years. But Star Wars, DC, and I'll put Marvel third because I really like and enjoyed the MCU, specifically the Infinity Saga. But I'm always DC first. So like the people that are Marvel first, I would never disrespect them by saying like it's life or death for me with those movies. But DC starting a new universe with Superman, that is a huge deal for me. So I wanted to sleep on it. I wanted to make sure I really felt how I thought I felt. And because of that, I am now filming early Friday morning. I did take notes so that my review wouldn't be too scrambled. Because again, guys, I really do care about this. Like this is not coming from a place of I'm just trying to get clicks. By the way, I'm painfully close to 1,000 subscribers. So if you like this review or appreciate my style in any way, throw me a subscribe so I can just finally cross that hurdle. I would really appreciate you. I'll start with a positive. Actually, first, you know what? Let me talk about my title. Now, I use the term mid properly. A lot of people use mid for bad. Mid is average. Mid is mediocre. Mid is a C grade. So when I say mid with some upside, I'm talking, okay, a lot of this movie is mid, but there are components that get us to like C plus B minus at times, right? So this movie's not an F in any means. I just wanted to clear that up as we get into this. Like I'm coming from all this from like an very average starting point. The reason why I say shockingly mid is James Gunn has been very public for years about how Superman is his baby. This is the movie I want. Even during the height of his Marvel days, he was like, I want Superman. I want Superman. He was doing the Suicide Squad for DC. I want Superman. I want Superman. Finally, they just gave him the whole studio. It was like, forget Superman. You're doing everything. So he wrote and directed this all by himself. I respect it. Hey, one person gets the glory, one person gets the blame. Knowing all of that, I couldn't believe how mediocre most of this film was. That's why I say I'm shocked. For this to be his career goal, his career work, I'm shocked that this is what he made. Like, if this was just from some director that was relatively new, they were giving him a chance with like his first big budget film, I'd be like, all right, like I see what he was trying to do. A lot of rookie mistakes, but we can build from this. And we can still build from what James made in this movie. But wow. The cast is phenomenal. And there is a lot to build on with a lot of these characters moving forward. And that I am very happy with. Honestly, the only cast member that I wasn't loving while watching is Nicholas Hoult as Lex. I didn't hate Jesse Eisenberg, but I acknowledge that he wasn't good either as a Lex Luthor. Like, if he was just named a different character, his performance was better. Nick Hoult went full Lex, but for whatever reason, Snyder and Gunn are just obsessed with like DC Universe movie Lex being just coming from like the tech billionaire side of things. Like, Gene Hackman's menacing. Kevin Spacey is menacing. Like, they hold weight in the room. These guys just come off as like dweebs that are smart and rich. And they kind of just did it again, but in a more evil way. I guess I'll just keep going with Lex since I brought it up, but he is evil. Like, killing people, locking people up in like a new universe. What do they call it? Pocket dimension. But he's just evil because he hates Superman. I remember specifically people hating Batman vs. Superman because of the lack of character motivations. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? Why do they hate each other so much? They just do. This Lex just hates Superman because he exists. There was nothing else more into it. He's just evil to be evil. I wanted something, like, something had to have happened that like affected him personally. Because Superman's been Superman for 3 years. Another thing I didn't love. Now, I knew this wasn't an origin story. And I'm already going off my notes here. But like I told you guys, I really care about this stuff. I understood them not doing another origin story. But I didn't know Superman was already going to be Superman for 3 years either. Like, the Pattinson Batman movie, he wasn't even really Batman yet. He called himself Vengeance or whatever. That was like a year into him being Batman. He was still like, he was still like trying out a suit and stuff. Superman's like full on Superman already. So we really don't even know anything about him other than comic book lore. Like, about this Superman specifically. Corn Sweat, like him as a character. We're kind of just going off of what we already know about Superman, you know? On top of Lex just being evil just because he hates Superman. His tech is crazy. So he has the tech to clone. I would have put it on, when I edit, I'll put it on screen by now, but this is full on spoilers. He has the tech to clone Superman, control the clone, and give him fight commands, which I didn't hate, by the way. I actually thought it was funny, them like sitting up in their studio, almost like he was the offensive coordinator and he had all of his team around him to like draw up the plays. And they're like fighting Superman, kind of like they're playing Mortal Kombat. I actually liked that. So again, like, there's parts of this movie I like. But it's more the tech behind it. So he can do that. He can create a pocket dimension where he can create a jail by making a fake black hole, like how the universe was built. And he can store thousands of prisoners in there and have robot monkeys or monkey trolls for Twitter. But when he goes to the Pentagon to give Flag and the DOD a presentation on how to kill Superman, it's on a overhead projector. It looks like it was made in the 80s. Like that promo he showed at the Pentagon, I could have made. So you can make a pocket dimension, but you can't hire a production company to make your Pentagon promo? This is where at the point where I'm like, how much thought went into this? Like, they're just being goofy to be goofy. And that's what I was most worried about with James Gunn having full control over this. Full goofiness works in Guardians of the Galaxy, but like there has to be a seriousness with Superman and with DC. Now, I'm not a guy that's like, oh man, this looks dark. This looks great. For like every dark movie with stakes. If you're watching someone on YouTube and their first reaction to something is, oh, this looks dark. This looks really good. They don't know what they're talking about. Like, it's possible to make fun, uplifting movies that are really good. But Superman needs to have some type of stakes. And the way they put stakes into this was with Lex just being so evil that you just had to root against him. And he was so evil that he was going to like have Earth kind of disband itself just for his own gain. Because he couldn't admit defeat at the end. So yeah, those are stakes, but it didn't like, it was amidst a popcorn movie. Like, yeah, I was laughing. There's funny stuff in the movie. People were having a good time. Like I said, it's opening night. But immediately I was like, all right, this is a popcorn movie. My Superman to start the DC universe is a popcorn film. Damn. A little disappointed. By the way, it's funny that I was kind of in my head about doing this review. Again, because like, this means something to me. I was like, maybe I just don't even do it. Now it's going to be like an hour long because I can't stop talking once I start. One last point on Lex. So the villains are just faceless villains. You got the girl who like can create anything she wants with nanotech. I did think it was creative that their plan to kill him was to kill Superman was to fill his lungs with the nanotech. Like with someone so as strong as Superman, and this actually I'll go into my next point. The problem is like he's so strong, especially in the comics. How do we build a movie universe around him where he can just beat everybody? So that was a smart idea to kill him. Like it almost worked. But just like the villains of being faceless guys that are just fighting. I think the Raptors, they're just like straight out of Iron Man 3. You find out at the end that the faceless villain was the Superman clone. We had the little cute monster that grew into like taller than skyscrapers overnight. That was the first villain. I was like, man, we could have done better than this. I understand the main villain is Lex, but Lex isn't fighting Superman, obviously. It was just mid. Like, these are mid villains. Superman OP problem. Going future into the universe, we're actually in a good state because Superman got wrecked numerous times in this movie. He wasn't, honestly, he wasn't even like the best fighter. Like, this is Mr. Terrific is the star of this movie. I continue to jump around, but sorry. But this is a positive. He is awesome. Perfect casting. Eddie, I believe his name's Eddie Gathegi. I actually know this actor because he's in a show I really like on Apple called For All Mankind. I really like space shows. He's perfect casting. Perfect, played the character beautifully. And he's the star of the movie. Now we gotta hop to the negative side. Why is Mr. Terrific and Guy Gardner with the goofy haircut, the stars of the first Superman movie. James, you rep Superman so much in an attempt to make it, so he doesn't like going for it. He needs help. He can't do all this stuff himself. And because of that, the Justice Gang's the star of the movie. Like every time the Justice Gang, hilarious name by the way, and I love how Green Lantern like is the man behind it. That's where the James Gunn goofiness works. Every time they're on screen, were my favorite parts of the movie. Easy. And I love that the origins of what will be the Justice League, other than Superman, obviously Green Lantern's not a DC list character, but like having Hawkgirl in there immediately, having Mr. Terrific in there immediately. We also added Metamorpho now as a member of the Justice Gang. Like, I like that we're not jumping straight into Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash again. Like, we need a break from that. And I agree that we should be starting all this with Superman, but this is not the Superman movie that I was hoping we were going to start all this with. Man, for me, it was like watching the third sequel where they're just trying to make some money. The story just wasn't there for me, guys. I should have said this earlier, like, welcome to AP Entertainment. Real talk, real reviews. I have no agendas. I have no one to have agendas for. I'm just a fan that cares about this stuff. So moving forward with that brief setup of the Justice Gang, and I love all the characters that are already in it. That's like the upside of this movie where I can see where we're going. And I'm really looking forward to that Green Lantern show. Although I know that show is not about the Guy Gardner Green Lantern, I'm pretty sure. So just to wrap up the Superman OP stuff real quick. Yes, for the betterment of the universe going forward, I think it actually was a smart move because it shows that he needs the Justice League. But unfortunately, making him not OP in this movie made it so like he had to get saved multiple times. And they also just threw him in the pocket dimension for a third of the movie so that the human characters led by Lois, Rachel did a good job, by the way. Like the whole Daily Planet team was also very fun. Like anytime the Daily Planet characters or the Justice Gang characters were on screen, those were my favorite parts of the movie. Jimmy Olsen finally got his due. I know a lot of people hated how Jimmy Olsen got popped by the terrorists immediately in Batman vs. Superman. So Jimmy got his due in this movie for sure. Unfortunately, I think I've covered the OP stuff. You guys know what I'm saying. Unfortunately, the main part of Jimmy Olsen's character is that Lex Luthor's whole plan to take over the world basically this movie came down to Lex Luthor's girlfriend sending Jimmy Olsen sexy selfies. I need the same energy that you guys had for the Zack movies. Lex went to jail and got exposed to the world because his girlfriend sent selfies to Jimmy Olsen. That happened in this movie. Also, it was just a throwaway line. Go to get Pocket Dimension, Superman's in jail, Metamorpho. It was painfully obvious that he was going to cave eventually and let Superman save his son, Joey. So we were just wasting time. And a throwaway line that Kryptonite's not on Earth anymore. All right, I guess that's so that it can't be used to beat Superman later. So it just doesn't exist, basically. Except for briefly in the movie because you needed a way to keep Superman unpowered. Okay. Jesus. I hated the pocket dimension in general. I'm done with dimensions and multiverses. Just give me a straight story. It's the start of the universe. Like, we don't have to get too crazy here. Let me get to a positive. There was a lot of talk about James ripping off Star Wars with like an opening scroll. It wasn't an opening scroll Tons of movies have opening titles that explain to you, set the scene for what's going on. I actually like them. I like the style. 3 centuries, 3 decades, 3 years, 3 weeks, 3 hours, 3 minutes. I believe it went down to 3 minutes. I really liked that opening. It was Tarantino-esque. Beautiful backdrop of, I believe they filmed those scenes in Norway. Liked it a lot. Set the scene. Hey, look, humans have accepted now that there are metahumans, powered individuals amongst us. We've accepted it. It's just part of life now. They've been here for hundreds of years. Superman's came here 30 years ago. He's been doing his thing for 3 years. 3 hours ago, something happened. I forget. And then 3 minutes ago, he got beat for the first time. Bam! Movie starts. I liked it. If we're not going to get an origin story, I like that style. I feel like I didn't finish my thoughts on why I may have actually preferred an origin story, but I feel like I still don't know this Clark because we didn't see how he grew up. Like, yeah, we went back to Kansas a little bit, but that brought me to a negative because going from Kevin Costner and Diane Lane, and no disrespect to those actors, but that was a stark contrast. The words escaping me, but almost a gasp. Like, oh, okay, we've taken a step back here with this one. Sorry, I had to take a break there. My voice is very deep, so I needed to take a drink and regain myself here on my list. I want to finish other positives I wrote down. The Peacemaker cameo in the news clip where he's talking about how Superman's a dick. Very funny, and I'm actually glad that Peacemaker Season 2 will bring us into this new universe because that is a character I like. I covered that. All right, so the budget was $225 million. The CG is very good. This is not The Flash, even though The Flash is more expensive than this. The CG is crisp. Some of the better CG I've seen in a while. And the cinematography was also very good. I hold the belief that despite this movie now being 12 years old, Man of Steel was the best looking comic book movie that's ever been made. And that's still the case, but this movie looked really good. Like, the fight scenes were really smooth. I joked about this in the trailer. I legitimately think they spent $20 million on that dog. Like, that dog looks more real than real dogs. So everything visually, they absolutely nailed. And that's important. Like, when you're coming out with the first movie in a new universe, it can't look cheap. It's got to look fire. Unfortunately, the plot and the script didn't really match that. Unfortunately, guys, like the positives I wanted to point out, that's kind of it. Now, I don't mind news expositions all that much. A lot of movies are using it a little too much for my liking. And what I mean is, like, we cut to newscasts of people talking about, it's just exposition so that it doesn't actually have to happen. You're just seeing how people are talking about plots in the world you're watching. Another thing Zach got killed for in Batman vs. Superman. This movie has even more of it. Where's the same energy, guys? This movie's, how many times did we cut to newscasts of people filling us in? 10 times? Not even exaggerating. By the way, I gotta go back to the cast real quick. I gotta shout out my man from The Wire, who is the new Perry, head editor or publisher or whatever, the Daily Planet. Shit. Awesome to see him in the role. Again, guys, the cast is phenomenal and they all hit, like, all good stuff. But man, at the same time, like, the dragged out scenes with Clark and Lois, it's like, oh, can we move on? Like, they've been talking for 10 minutes, it feels like, and oh, now they're making out again. All right. I'm going to close with one more negative and then a positive to go forward. Now, this isn't necessarily negative for me, but when I'm talking about keeping the same energy, this is by far the biggest example. People destroyed Man of Steel for Metropolis getting wrecked for like 40 minutes. And I admit, that is a overly long fight scene at the end of that movie. This entire movie is Metropolis getting wrecked. Every fight scene is in downtown Metropolis. And people are just in the buildings, not even leaving. Oh, what's another thing Zach got killed for? Bruce having to call his employees, telling them to get out of the buildings in BVS? Well, apparently that was necessary because no one's leaving their jobs in this universe. Superman clone, I forget his actual character name, is laser beaming buildings with people still in them. And they're just watching it. Not only does Metropolis get wrecked, it is getting literally divided in half as the Earth's core splits. And no one's complaining about it. I'm not complaining about it as like, I can't believe they did that. That's whack. The fight scenes in Metropolis in this movie are pretty good. Especially the end where Superman crashes through Lex's little pod as he's trying to escape. Good stuff. And Lex's like employees turn on him. Another complaint with Lex, like holding weight Lex, his employees wouldn't turn on him. Like they wouldn't be second guessing him and stuff like that. Then, like again, he's just a rich billionaire, evil dweeb. Like, and now he's in jail. Like Lex's whole plan to take over the world lasted one movie, lasted 2 hours. I'm sure we'll see him again, obviously, but that's just like that. That's an arc that could have lasted a while. Blew the whole load immediately. Where is the same energy? Metropolis gets wrecked in this movie. And then the ultimate eye roll is we got to go from that to the total polar opposite. We're in the middle of fight. Superman is saving a squirrel. That's when I officially was like, I actually did this in the theater. Leaned back a little more in my recliner. I was like, all right, I see what kind of movie this is. Cool. I just want you guys to keep it real. Like, I'm not just, an entire universe was wrecked because of these complaints. And now it's a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm just saying. Someone's got to keep it real out here. All right. Positive to end. By the way, the grade is, as a film, is a C+. You might be like, man, you kind of shat on that movie. The points, again, like, nothing in the movie is offensively bad. Like, so you guys know where I'm at on kind of a general scale with recent comic book movies. Like, Captain America Brave New World was an F+. That movie was terrible. I didn't get to see Thunderbolts yet. Guardians 3 was a B+. Shang-Chi is a B. So this movie is a C+ as a standalone movie. But I do think there's a world where once we see more of this universe, I could go back and watch this movie again and see, like, the origins, see characters where they started, and be like, yeah, like, this is a B-. So I'm literally in between a C+ and a B-. And I've never done that before, but again, I slept on it, and that's really where I am. Because the Justice League parts of the movie are an A. The Superman parts are a C-ish. So, like, together, those parts of the movie together, that's where I'm getting that C+, B- from. Great to see Millie at the end. I'm very high on that casting of Supergirl. I think she's a really good actress. I liked her a lot in House of Dragon. I liked her a lot in Sirens. My wife put me on to let me know that apparently TikTok was trashing her performance in Sirens. I thought she was good. She was You guys know that acting is like not playing yourself, right? Like she was acting the character. People didn't like the character in that. Like she was acting. I'm digging like the partier, the opposite of Clark, like kind of loose. She's gonna bend the rules a little more. Also thought it was funny how Crypto is not Clark's dog in this. Like it's her dog. I thought that was very funny. I think that movie's gonna be better this one, and I'm giving myself the writing emoji. I'm very high in that film. I think that's next June, and before that we have the Green Lantern show, which I'm also still very high on. So again, the future parts teased in this movie, I'm really looking forward to. Like I am not down at all in this universe, but as a Superman movie, this did not have that weight that I wanted. I perfectly understand people liking this movie. AA plus is crazy, but if like this is a B plus film to you, even an A minus, you went with your kids, everyone had a good time, you don't take this stuff like as serious as me, I completely understand. You're gonna laugh, it's appropriate for kids, it's hopeful. Like a couple times I got chills. The scene where the one fake country is invading another fake country, and the little kid like stands his ground and raises the Superman flag because he still believes in Superman. That got me. You know, I got a little tingly. There was one moment in one of the fight scenes where the OG score hit without that new synthetic bullshit, and I hit me. I got some chills. The score of this movie is not good. That's another thing that it's like. Man, you can hate on the Snyder movies. That's cool. Like, I get it. You wanted, like, a more pure version of the characters. Those scores are beautiful. The original Superman score is beautiful. Like, if you're going to use the original Superman score, just use it, James. It's not too late. Like, we could just move past this, and you could even use the Man of Steel score, honestly. I don't know. Mixed with the original, like the synthetic one, and the end credits are like modern music. I'm like, what are we doing? I also don't think there's a lot to this movie. Like what you see is what you get. Like when I go back and watch it, I don't think my grade is going to change. Like it's a popcorn movie. I said it a bunch already. I'm going to end before I keep rambling. I want to thank you guys. If you made it to this point, props. I want to thank you guys for joining me. Again, like this is not coming from a point of bias. I want this movie to really succeed. I want people to like the movie more than I did because this movie needs to make a lot of money because I don't trust, even though it's a completely new ownership, new heads of the studio, I do not trust WB and DC Studios to not pull the plug on this universe before it really gets started. This movie like really needs to make $700-800 million for me to feel confident in it moving forward. So we'll see what the tracking's like. Again, I saw it pretty early, so like there wasn't even any box office officially reported yet, just the predictions. So if you liked it more than me, I'm glad. Like I want people to like it so that we can get more. If you hated it more than me, like if you're like, this shit was trash, I kind of understand. Like, I thought there was more positives than that in it, but if someone gave me told me to give them the elevator pitch of my final thoughts on this movie, it really would be kind of what I said in the beginning. Like, for someone that's wanted to make a Superman movie his entire life, and for someone who is a talented filmmaker, I just can't believe he made a mid-story. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll do my final sign off. Thanks so much for joining me. And I hope to see you guys again for the next stage, talking DC Universe with the Green Lantern show. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Peace.